like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, I need it now, told him on the lay. I've been moving, dog, yeah, I'm on the way. I don't hear the talk, don't care what they say. I don't got no patience, I can't ever wait. I've been trying to get it, running up all these digits, and I've been in the gym. I've been up doing minutes, I just put in that work. Told them it's strictly business, and I see through the face. They all just burning bridges. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, they don't want it, dog, like I want it, dog. Yeah, they say they want it, then they took the summer off. I've been going down the list, checking numbers off. I was checking on your numbers, told them something's off. I was at the bottom, now you know I'm climbing. Now they sending deals, they know I ain't signing. They been trying to sell it, they know I ain't buying. When they send a text, dog, I ain't replying. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close, I blend up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, man, we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 5:47. We were a couple of minutes late today, but what is going on, CandleMafia? Welcome back to another amazing show here as we're going to break down Bitcoin as we continue to get resistance on our key level of resistance that we've been looking at since last week. As you guys know, we were looking at the bottom of that macro range with confluence, with that golden pocket. We are continuing to see that drop to the downside, and now we're kind of just wiggling sideways. But I want to break down the price action here, guys. I want to talk about the weekly candle as well as what we can expect moving forward here for Bitcoin coming up over the next week. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a teaser here. It's a little bit mixed. It's a little bit mixed, guys. So we're going to break it all down. I'll try to give you guys a clear view of what I'm looking at. We'll give you the key levels, not only on the higher time frames, which haven't really changed at all, but we'll also be taking a look at the local price action. I'll show you guys some local levels that I am interested in potentially looking at for some scalp trades this week. And shout out to the CandleMafia, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys some free chances to win some free crypto. And I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to do it. Hang on one sec. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start off the stream good here. Let's start off with a fresh pair of lungs here. Here we go. Hashtag, I'm not a nerd. So with that being said, guys, shout out to the CandleMafia. We got Melissa in the chat. Shout out to Ramza. Thank you for getting that membership. Shout out to you, bro. Welcome to the muscle. We got Seek and Hunt in the chat. What is going on, bro? Hopefully I'm not blowing out anybody's eardrums. We got Carlos in the chat dropping those goats. Let's go. Shout out to the goats out there. We got Chris in the chat. David, Derek Brown. Good to see you in here. Anna Maria, what is going on? Let's see. Don't forget to shout out to Tony D, guys. Don't worry about him. I actually can't. There we go. I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hide him from here so you guys won't be bothered by Tony D anymore. He's been hidden from the channel. So shout out to Tony D. It's been a good ride, bro, but you're out of here. Get out of here. I'm just kidding, guys. Let me actually undo that before he accidentally winds up being permanently banned on the channel. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you for being here, Mafia. I appreciate every single one of you. Green Day Prophets. We got Seth Shepard in the chat. Cause I can bump it. Shout out to Koozie Can. We got the Aztec King Cactus Moss Water on deck today. We're going to go ahead and crack this. Woo, baby. That is good stuff. But yeah, shout out to Gene. Shout out to Amy Lives Crypto. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Carrie Stressel in the chat, dropping those peppers in the chat. Let's go. Shout out to Berto. Says, yo, just give money, baby. Shout out to Berto. Must know what we do here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. We gave away $300? I think we gave $300 in XRP away last week, as well as some Cardano. So smash up that like button. If you guys want some chances to win some free crypto this week, smash that like button. 550 is the goal. If we get 550 on this stream, which is going to be a short one, hashtag short stream. I know it's a meme at this point, guys, but I do have something I have to get to. So yeah, we are going to do a little bit of a shorter stream here today. But smash that like button. 550 on tonight's live stream. We'll add... I don't know. Well, Tony D, throw up a poll. We'll give away some different crypto here, drop some a poll in the chat with some options for the Mafia. You guys vote on it, and if we get 550, we'll give away that crypto. Shout out to Crypto Pollo in the chat. Said that daily structure is still showing lower highs and lower lows. You think wick to that SFP. Of the 42 to 48K range. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Pollo. I'm going to talk about that lower high coming in that we could be potentially putting in right now. I'm going to talk about that because that was something we were looking at last week on the live stream, and even before we came up for this retracement, we were looking for a potential lower high. So I want to cover all that on today's live stream. So shout out to everybody in here. Bullish on Parade said, as Frankie's lawyer and gynecologist. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. Said, none of this is financial advice. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. Very important, guys. None of this is financial advice. I'm just some crazy YouTuber screaming on camera here. So none of this is financial advice. Obviously, just for entertainment and educational purposes only. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and drop on into the charts and see if we can figure out what the heck this thing is going to do. Let's get into it. So here we are on the Bitcoin chart. Shout out to O Scientist or Q Scientist. O Scientist said, "Take off the hat, Frankie." Shout out to you, bro. Don't get the hair done today. If I took my hat off right now, we'd probably lose viewers, if I'm being honest. But shout out to you, bro. Maybe I'll expose the crazy hair. I'm actually gonna get a haircut tomorrow. I'm overdue for one. But yeah. And then let's see. Goldavelli said, "Frankie, gotta go meet up with Trump and Elon." Shout out to Goldavelli. Hey, let's go. Everyone, spam his view about. Shout out to Mohammed and Goldavelli. But guys, let's go ahead and continue on here and take a look at what we got going on. So as we are, obviously have our main range here, as you guys know, this key level that we've been looking at right here, sitting between about $62K and $61,000. This was our key level of resistance that we were looking at, believe it or not, all the way, but since before we got this retracement to the upside, and I'm not going to really spend too much time on this because we covered over the past few streams, but as we got that drop down to $49,000, guys, we were looking, not only was that 51 to 52K level tapped, but we did look for this retracement, and this was kind of the first major zone of resistance, not locally, but kind of like in the higher time frames. This was that first major level of resistance, right? It is the value area low of our major range here, which obviously is going to act as key resistance until proven otherwise, right? And then on top of that, if you pull your fib from the local high all the way to the low here, you have that golden pocket confluence right on that value area low. And just to add a little bit more resistance there, once we closed this daily candle on Friday, we did actually have a fresh daily level put up there as well, which if you zoom in a little bit here, you guys can see we actually wound up coming back up and testing that daily before swing failing this wick and getting another drop to the downside. We are now currently holding this tapped daily level. However, when we zoom back out here, guys, obviously this was kind of the major zone of resistance that we were looking at as that first potential area to put in a macro lower high and potentially continue that structure or the breakish structure to the downside. And, it's kind of hard to call here. Like I said, there are some mixed signals on the chart, and I'm going to come up to the higher time frames in just a second, but I just want to show this. All the major levels of resistance that we've been looking at from last week do remain exactly the same. We are getting current resistance on the level that we were first looking at, which is the golden pocket value area low, and now tapped daily level. And then if we are able to get above this value area low and get a bigger move up into this next purple zone, which is also a very, very important level of resistance, it is the 786 Fibonacci retracement. So obviously, once you crack that golden pocket, the next likely place for price to go in terms of the Fibonacci levels is going to be to go for that 786 retracement. And then also, with that being said, once you get above that value area low, you can start to set your eyes on that POC, which is kind of why this is a zone of resistance and not just a straight line. These levels do remain the same. We've been looking at these for quite some time. We are just simply seeing, right, us get that retracement and that first rejection at the golden pocket. So as of right now, before I jump in a little bit more into detail, I want to zoom out here, guys, and talk about the current situation that we're in, right? Just kind of like the overall view. Now, if you guys remember to last week's live streams, you will know we were looking. I'm going to have to unhide this. Let me hide the current range. We are obviously still in this massive bull flag here, and we are back inside, right? So you don't want to ignore this, right? We are still in this giant bull flag. Could this break to the upside? Yes, it is more likely than not that bull flags will break up more often than they break down. So this is kind of the bullish case in the bull flag. And, if we come on over to the weekly time frame, you guys can see we obviously closed this weekly candle. And I was talking to the premium Discord about this earlier today in our premium live stream. And, this isn't a bullish hammer candle, but it is somewhat of a, you could identify this as a bullish weekly candle, right? Because the wick on the bottom end is a little bit longer. And just when you have big wicks like this on the to the downside, and then you just get that big wick, all the bulls, right? So the reason this is looked at as a little bit more bullish, in my opinion, is because when you get a big drop to the downside like that and you have these long wicks, what does this show, right? This essentially shows you that the bears were able to push price all the way down, right? Maybe it was liquidations, whatever. You get that massive drop to $49,000, hopefully not $41,000. And then, once you get that drop to the downside, you get that strong, bullish pressure just buying back the price all the way back up. And really what I compare this to is, again, this is not a bullish hammer candle, really, but it is still technically, I would classify this a little bit more bullish. It's almost a doji candle, but typically, the reason I am looking at this as a little bit more bullish is because you can see here, right, this is a little bit more of a bullish hammer candle, right? It's kind of hard to circle here on the higher time frames like this, but as you can see, right, like when you get these big wicks to the downside, right, the sellers push price all the way down, and then the buyers eat it all the way back up. And then when you create this bullish hammer candle, oftentimes it does indicate a reversal, right? And you can see that is exactly what happened here. You get the drop to the downside, buyers buy it back up, you get that bullish hammer candle, and then you get a reversal back up to about $73,000, $72,300, whatever it is, right? That is oftentimes what you see with these bullish hammer candles. Now, again, this is obviously, you could kind of see this now. This is not really a bullish hammer, but the fact that you have this big long wick could still be looked at as some kind of strength. The fact that the bulls were able to buy all this back up like that could be looked at as somewhat of a bullish kind of signal, right? Now, also looking at Market Cipher B, you can see the VWAP. Not really much to write home here about, but, VWAP is starting to creep its way back up towards that zero line. Again, nothing really too intense here. This could easily turn around, but as we come on over here to the higher daily time frames, such as the 3-day, you can see your VWAP is getting somewhat close to that zero line. But again, guys, money flow is still trending downward, right? So when you see that money flow trending to the downside, this would indicate, this is why I'm saying we're in a little bit of a sticky situation. It's kind of been the same thing for the past week or so, where you have that money flow coming down on the higher daily time frames, indicating a potential continuation of the downtrend. Remember, the money flow indicates the longer term trend, right? I always say this almost every stream, but if I can help out one new person per stream, I will repeat it time and time again. But the money flow indicates a longer term trend, and then these green and red dots more often indicate the ebbs and flows in the market, right? The red, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, right? And then the money flow is simply indicating the overall trend, and you can see this to be true, right? As money flow trends out, we keep putting in high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So we are in a downtrend here, but again, that doesn't mean that we're going to zero, right? Because you basically need to be in a downtrend to create this bull flag, right? Which is a bullish continuation pattern. So, but we want to keep an eye on this money flow, because again, if that money flow crosses over into the red, guys, this is why I still am open to the idea of a bigger drop to the downside if we start losing some key levels. Now, there's nothing on the chart right now that is calling for, well, I guess maybe there is, right? But that is why I'm keeping kind of an open mind here to that $40,000 level, right? We have this $40,000 area of consolidation down here. And, again, remember this, right? Part of the reason why we were anticipating price to come down here and break the $53,000 4th of July low, the reason we were anticipating that, and again, I said this last week, it seems like, it's not the most popular thing to go on YouTube and say that price is going to come down, especially after a strong pump like this. But this was all just based off TA, right? We were likely to put this lower high in, not only because money flow was coming out on a lot of key time frames, but also we were coming down into that 786 Fibonacci retracement level, which you guys know was sitting right here. Not only the 786, but it was also our value area high, as well as a weekly horizontal level up here as well. So there were many reasons to anticipate that drop to the downside, and I'm glad that I was bringing this up as we were getting this strong pump to the upside. This is why if you're going up, you don't just want to look for the continuation. You want to understand the overall macro picture and the anticipation of those larger trends continuing, right? That's how we were able to look for this drop to the downside to 51 to 52K, which if you tune in here, every time I brought that up, it's not popular, right? People are like, why is this guy looking down at 51 to 52K? We just pumped, whatever it is, right? We just ripped 25%, and this guy's looking for 51 to 52K, but what happened? We wound up seeing the TA play out and continuing that downtrend, right? So we have to approach this with a very similar mindset, because as long as this trend continues to the downside, although we are in a bull flag, which again is why we're in a sticky situation. I'll be honest, guys, it's very hard to tell where price is going to go right now. And I was on a Twitter space earlier today, and Crypto Face was in there as well, and they kind of went around and asked us what we thought, and it's very hard to say right now, because the higher time frame money flow is clearly coming out, right? This would give you a little bit of a bearish bias. And actually, shout out to Crypto Face was in here the other day saying that he was long, but also scared, right? Because I'm sure Face is also looking at that money flow coming out, being like, hey, this is typically a bearish sign. But with where we are in the cycle right now, with this giant bull flag, with this massive bullish wick on the weekly, right? With this massive liquidation wick, which we have touched on many times. I even drew out a little bit of annotations here, right? Anytime we go sideways for a little bit and get these big washouts in the bull market, these are typically opportunities for another leg up, right? And I show this a ton of times, right? Sideways movement, wash out the longs, next leg up. Sideways movement, wash out the longs, next leg up. Sideways movement, wash out the longs. Can we see that next move up? Well, the bull flag would say yes, right? But money flow is not pointing in that direction. So I am still somewhat cautiously optimistic, almost neutral right now. And that's okay, right? You don't always have to have a strong determined bias on where you think price is going to go. Sometimes the best trade is no trade, right? Now, obviously, you can scout the lower time frames. You can scout the 1 minute, scout the 5 minute all day long. Obviously, a little bit more risky, especially in the environment we're in right now. But, this is, it's okay. Sometimes the best trade is no trade. And with that being said, coming down come back over to the daily here, pulling up this range, right, we are still in a situation where we could easily see the continuation of this trend to the downside based off money flow, and not only that, but also based off market structure. So, if our bullish case here is that bull flag does wind up playing out, and then we just wind up coming back into the range, and this kind of brings me to the next part of the stream, which is like, where do we need to get above in order to just, look up, right? And in my opinion, right, this golden pocket 786 is kind of level number 1. And to be honest with you guys, there really is no direct line in the sand, in my opinion, right? At least for me. And the reason for that is because we still have a lot of resistance above, right? So technically the most local level, the most key level of resistance to get above right now is going to be this zone right here, the first zone that we're retracing from right now, right? And that is sitting between $62,000 and $61,000. If we can get above that, we could potentially look up, right? But then you're likely going to be that next stop. That 786 is probably going to be that next stop, right? So that's not too far up. But you have that 786, and then you might be thinking like, well, hey, if we flip that 786, that could invalidate the lower high. Sure, right? If you're looking at that lower high to come in at that 786, sure, that would invalidate it, right? And oftentimes when you get above that 786, this is where I'm saying, hey, not looking for the lower high anymore. I would rather see higher prices. But if you look above, you then have another key level, which is the POC of your range, right? So it's not even like if we flip that POC, we are off to the races. And then once you get above that POC, simply put, you would just look up to that value area high, which is not far above that. So we do still have a lot of resistance above. So really the way I'm handling this is if we get above that golden pocket value area low and hold this as support well, this is where I would look up into this second zone. The next, this is definitely the next main area of resistance, right? And this is coming in, same levels as last week, about $64,790 all the way up to about, $67,000. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, really $67,000 is that major POC. 65, really between about 65, almost $65,000 to $67,000. This is a big zone of resistance. And then, again, if we get above that, right, that would be a better sign than not, but value area high is right there. But once we get above this POC, we could easily anticipate that value area high. And then once we get up here, depending on what the charts look like, right, this could potentially give us an opportunity to not put in another lower high. But at that point, I would just want to reassess the situation, right? It's hard to say what price is going to do once we get up here because in terms of the volume profile, this is typically where you want to look for shorts. And again, not the popular opinion here, right? This is not what people want to hear. But, every time we come up to these value area highs, especially here, right, like this is where everyone's super, super bullish. Oh, my God, are we going to break all-time highs? The Bitcoin Nashville conference is happening. We're going to pump. Which basically never happens, but where we wind up coming down from? We came right down from that value area high, and this is generally the place where we're going to be looking for shorts. But it's hard to say, right? Because once we get up here, depending on what price action looks like, depending on what money flow looks like, we don't know what signals are going to be popping up as we approach this level. So that's why I'm saying we have to assess the situation once we get up there. But very simply put, this volume profile is the context. I am still looking at the market in for the past, let's call it 168 days. So yeah, like just still in the context of this larger profile. But again, key level, get above that golden pocket value area low, look up towards this second level. I will be looking for swing shorts. I will be looking for short confirmations up here to potentially take another position if we don't just wind up putting in the lower high at the golden pocket. And then once we get above there, next key level is going to be that $70,000 value area high, right? And then this is again where we can look for this as look at this as potentially being an overvalued asset to return back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low. And again, hopefully, right, I said this all the way back here. I was saying, hopefully we don't reject here and go back down to the low and then go back up to the high and then back to the low, right? Like this was not what I wanted to see this summer, but we knew it was very likely, right? Very oftentimes in the summer, guys, we do wind up getting the sideways price action, which is pretty boring, at least for the live streams, but hopefully we don't just come back up here and then find short positions and come all the way back down, right? Like, is it going to make for nice trading, right? Maybe we could take a long down here, go to the high, and then look for a short down to the low. But this would be absolutely brutal for YouTube and just making content in general. This would be a super, super boring scenario. But yeah, hopefully if we can get above that POC, we just attack that value area high, flip it to support, and then just go. But again, there's no way to tell that. We have to wait till we get up there so we can assess the actual price action, look at the signals, and see what we're dealing with. So there you go. For the most part, guys, that is what I'm looking at at on the higher time frames. Sentiment still remains like cautiously bullish, almost like bullish and scared kind of. Because again, right, like they're like we said on Friday's live stream, I kind of listed off the bullish case and the bearish case, or the evidence pieces for both sides. And there's an argument for both moves here. I'll be honest. Like, there's an argument for the move up. There's an argument for the move down. But all we could do is stick to the TA, right? So if we're not going to put the lower high in here or here, maybe that's where we see that bull flag really just bring us back up and give us the move to higher prices, right? But if we get the real bearish scenario here where we get a rejection from the golden pocket or come up here for the confirmations and a rejection there, that would be the play out of the bearish case. But, for the most part, right, if we don't come up here and get the bearish signals and we flip that POC, again, very, very likely in my opinion, right, that could be where the bull flag winds up playing out. So there you go. Shout out to K Diggity, said, thank you, Tony. Tony D, are you talking to the people in chat again? Tony, I thought we said no interaction. Remember? No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Tony D. Let me see. Tony D, what are you doing to people in the chat? Let's see. Tony, I don't even know what he did, but there you go. Shout out to the Mafia for appreciating Tony D. BTC to 40K. Yeah. So if that bearish case does play out, that is really the next major kind of setup that I am looking at as far as key support down below. Let me go ahead and zoom out here a bit, come over to the daily. And you guys can see, right, like the next daily levels are sitting down here. We've tapped these daily levels down here. Next significant daily levels are sitting down here, starting at about 42.3, 42.4. But if I actually just go ahead and show this whole zone here, we have a macro golden pocket here. We have a naked point of control here. And then this whole naked value area. And again, are you noticing something very similar to what we were looking at on the 4th of July, or even leading up to the 4th of July? When we were looking at this rejection here, where we had the rejection of the value area high, the reason we were looking down to 51 to 52K, or I'm sorry, this rejection all the way down to the $49,000 level to take out that psychological level of $50,000. When we were looking at this, right, it was a naked value area. It was the same thing, right? It's kind of the same exact setup. And if I pull it up here, you guys can see, right? It's kind of, you got to zoom in a little bit. But we have that naked value area. We have these daily levels down below. And it's a very similar setup here. If we do wind up going ahead and putting in this lower high here, or maybe even a little higher, right? And then we get that bigger drop to the downside. Very similar. Naked value area. We have a macro golden pocket. We also had a Fibonacci level down here as well. And then you have those dailies down below. So if we do get that lower low and that bearish case does play out, this is definitely going to be the key level that I'm looking at, which again, there's no guarantees we come down here. And I know this might seem crazy to even look at, but it's very important to have these levels on your chart, because if you start getting the meltdown, right, and price starts dumping, you at least have an idea of where you think price is going to go. And remember, this level sounded crazy for weeks as we were looking at it, but what happened? The TA played out. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, guys, like, this is what we've been looking at. These levels all remain the same. I'm going to check in on chat real quick, but I do want to go over some local levels in just a minute. But let's go ahead and check in on the Mafia. Let's see. Shout out to Retro Mike Tech. Why you gotta out me like that, bro? Why you gotta out me like that, RMT? He says, Frankie introduced me to Tony D in Nashville. It was a cardboard cutout. Tony is 100% AI. Shout out to Retro Mike Tech. I mean, this is the risk that you have for introducing people to your imaginary friend. And, I guess... RMT, man. I trusted you, brother. But tell them about Mrs. Candles. Mrs. Candles are real, right, Mike? Right? Tell them, Mike, she's real, right? She wasn't plastic. Tell them. Let them know. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. It is crazy that we're at 60K. Shout out to Seek and Hunt. Let's say no comment. Shout out to Retro Mike. Hey, at least he didn't... Shout out to Retro Mike. Shout out to Golden in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well. I just picture you sitting in your helicopter or something, watching the live stream from your phone. Let's see. Bada boom. Shout out to Elite Way ZZ said, I just want to say one more time, 64K on the way. Shout out to Elite Ways. Yeah, we flipped that golden pocket value area low. 64K is probably going to be that next major stop, in my opinion. And again, once we get above that value area low, guys, remember, I know we have zones of resistance here, but if I go ahead and hide this, right, and I hide the fib, right, if I was just looking at this volume profile, right, very simply put, I'd be looking to flip the value area low, go to the POC. If you get above the POC, look to go to the high, right? And we could just use that as context for that for the bigger move, right? Shout out to Billy Goat Tails. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for dropping that super chat. I appreciate you. Said Mrs. Candles is not a blow up doll. Sweet lady. Shout out to Billy Goat Tails. There you go. Somebody out there telling the truth. Let's go. Shout out to Billy Goat Tails. Mrs. Candles is real. Hashtag I swear. Actually, if she's probably going to come popping through the door here very soon, I'll even show you guys her very, very real hand. It's not plastic. Is this on 4K, Tony? Can we turn this down to 340p? But anyway, shout out to Billy Goat Tails. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate you guys. But let's see. Mrs. Candles was a mannequin. Goldavelli, come on, bro. Come on. Blow-up dolls are different than mannequins. Come on. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Lars. Said, please send my crypto to the moon, bro. Shout out to Lars. I'm going to try my best, bro. I'm going to try my best. And actually, on the Twitter space earlier today, we were actually talking about, is retail actually here? And before I show the local levels, I want to talk about that a little bit. And, it's kind of interesting, right? And I was actually talking to Tony D about this earlier, too. It's like retail is here, but like it's not as interactive, right? So, what I was looking at was if you Google the search term analytics for the word Bitcoin, for the word altcoin, the search term analytics for Bitcoin and altcoins is basically at bear market lows, right? And typically when you see retail come in, those Google Analytics put in new all-time highs too, right? And the fact that we're hanging around bear market territory for these search term analytics is crazy. The only things that have shown significant search volume is Solana and meme coins, right? Bitcoin and altcoins is like no one's paying attention, right? Like it's just like it's still at bear market lows. No one's searching that stuff. Everyone's into Solana, meme coins, stuff like that, which could be right, like something really interesting to look at, right? Because again, if we are going to see retail come in, likely we're going to be higher than bear market lows on those search term analytics, which makes me think like, retail is here, but their interest has been very, very heavily pointed towards Solana and meme coins, just in general, obviously. And it is just really, really interesting to see. The question is, the last spike in the Bitcoin search term analytics that we got was right here at $70,000, right? And that was likely due to news articles being like, Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, and then people are like, oh, right, Bitcoin, let me go look that up. But as soon as that was over, it just went to nothing, right? We are literally at bear market lows now. So kind of an interesting thing to see, like Solana and meme coins just skyrocket in search terms, and Bitcoin and altcoins are just like sitting in the dust. But let's see. Solana is the best altcoin. Shout out to Incognito. I will take a look at Solana here in a little while. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Let's go. Shout out to Ali. Says Frankie Render TA. We could try to take a look at Render as well. The hand is real. It's just not connected to a body. Yo, Keith, bro, you're crazy for that, bro. That was federal right there. Shout out to Keith. Let's see. 57K for me. Yeah, and again, guys, like if we continue down here, it's not like if we break these lows, I'm definitely looking down to 40K, right? We do have some local levels here, and let's go ahead and take a look at them, right? So let me go ahead and pull this up, right? So again, down below, this is, again, like the levels that we were looking at last week. And we actually did come down to here. We had this level in the premium Discord for longs. I did not personally take a setup here, but we did have the zone to start looking. We did put some low time frame bullish divergences in here. Nothing too crazy, right? We put that lower low, or this wick. It's just like almost like we had the key level there, and it was just like, nah, I just want to touch it once. And then it's like Finding Nemo. Like I'm going to touch the butt. And then it just comes down here and taps it to go off, right? But we did put in those bullish divergences on the 30-minute with the lower lows on your price action into that golden pocket, which is also confluent. Come on, TradingView. There you go. Which also had confluence in this zone with the golden pocket and previous value area high, or the naked value area high that we had here. Came down, put that bull div, and that's where we got the bounce from. But pretty volatile day here as we got a yeet to the upside, a yeet back to the downside, this crazy wick here. And this is the situation that we're in here. The scalping is pretty wild right now. But as we look here, right, very simply put, to be honest, like this level here was something we were looking at earlier today in the premium Discord for a rejection. But other than that, really what I'd be paying attention to is if we get a bigger move to the downside, right? Just paying attention to this naked volume profile below. Value area high, golden pocket confluence sitting in like the 57.4 area. POC sitting at around 56.8, 56.9. And then your 786 and your value area low are, 786 sitting at 56.3. And then your value area low sitting at 55.454, 55.5, right? But just very simply put, right? If we do get a continuation down here, you can use this volume profile as context. You get stuck under that value area high, look for a move to the POC 786, lose that, looking to go down to the low here. So those are the local levels that I'm watching. Until then, we're kind of just stuck between these two value areas. But for the most part, guys, like I was saying last week, really focused on the bigger picture here. As the scalping, as you could see from earlier today, is very, very wonked out. Big wicks, wash out to the downside, big rip back up to the higher prices, right? Excuse me, we're just kind of bing-bonging around here. It's very, very volatile. I don't even want to say, I guess volatile is the word, but just kind of like unpredictably washer machine-like. So, really what I would pay attention to is I know not everyone's trying to scalp those low time frames. Just for those of you who are looking for that, those are kind of the levels that I'm looking at. But for the most part, right, like we are just rejecting key resistance. As long as we can hold a higher low here and get above that value area low, I am paying attention to these higher time frame kind of scenario here, to be quite honest. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Jose. He says, Frankie, what makes a value area naked or clothed? That's actually a really, really good question. I'm not saying like good question, I'm curious too, but it's a really good question to ask, right? Because I do say this stuff and sometimes I just assume people know what I'm talking about. When I talk about a naked value area, all I'm saying is like down here, right? This is, let me see, bada boom. Grab this box, right? So when I refer to a naked really when I'm referring to naked levels, it just means it hasn't been tapped yet, right? So like a naked point of control, like actually I can explain this pretty easily. Let me go ahead and hide this, and I'll go ahead and hide this, right? So if I were to pull up some naked points of control, and this will kind of explain the theory in general, right? These are naked points of control, right? What makes this level naked, right? Because this level is not naked, right? This is a tapped point of control, right? So really all a naked level is a level that has not been tapped, right? So when you see these naked points of control right here, we'll come to the daily time frame, and you can see up here we have a point of control that is extended all the way to the right. This has not been tapped yet. This naked point of control was created, right? And it is sitting right here. Now, until price comes up and taps that level, it is naked. And the nice thing about the TradingView naked points of control are if I go ahead and come back into bar replay mode real quick, hopefully I can get this to work in bar replay mode. It probably won't. Let me change some settings here, see if I could fix it. Bada boom. Come on. Dang. All right, let me come down to a lower time frame. It might work. Come on. Okay, there you go. Okay, so these, I don't use 5-hour naked points of controls, but it's the same thing on the daily, right? So you can see here, right here, you have a naked point of control. So I'm going to draw that. I won't even draw it as a line. I'll just hold it right here, right? 69,661. This level is naked until price comes. Actually, use this one because I think we're probably going to hit that first. So this is naked. This is naked. If price comes down and taps this level, it will disappear and no longer extend to the right. And that's basically what makes it clothed, right? So if you come down, look, boom, we just tapped that level, and now that MPOC is gone, right? Or it's not gone, but it's no longer extending to the right. Does that make sense? Come on, TradingView. There you go, right? So this level here, I will mark it out, right? It's extending all the way to the right. As soon as you touch it, it'll disappear, right? Boom. Right, and now this new one is created, but this one is now no longer extended to the right because it has been tapped, right? So when I refer to naked, it's just a level that has not been tapped yet, or something that has not been tapped. So when I'm talking about a naked volume profile or a naked value area, it is simply a level like right up here, right? If I were to pull this volume profile, and this is kind of like, I just call this naked, right? But like if I extrapolate this to the right, this value area is extrapolated to the right. So when I say naked, really when I'm saying naked point of control, this is what I mean. But when I say naked value area, it's just when we reapproach an old area of balance, right? So I don't know if you would really consider that naked, but that is kind of, it's just an extrapolated level, right? Where naked points of controls literally go away once you tap them, right? And you can still look at them as a tapped level, but it's typically not as strong as when it is naked, right? So if we come up here and tap this, you'll see that line will go away. Hopefully we can come back up there and tap that. Come on. I know at some point we'll come up there. Maybe I don't know what time frame we're looking at here, or what the date is here, right? But you could just see as price hits these naked points of control, you see that one disappears, right? I'm gonna come up to another. If we come down to this one, it'll disappear. I don't think we do. Boom, right? That one disappears, right? No longer naked. When we hit these, they will no longer be naked, right? That one is no longer naked. Does that make sense? Hopefully, just watching this in real time. Boom, that one just disappeared, no longer naked. right? So there you go. That's what I mean by naked. But the volume profile, really what I mean is just it's a previous area of value. And when we reapproach an old area of balance, that's what I mean by naked. But I will say this, right? If we come back up here and then we leave and then we come back to it, I am still paying attention to this, right? So it's not really naked because we came back up and interacted with it. So, maybe naked's not the best word for the value areas, but naked points of control, that is what I mean, right? Those are only naked until they're tapped, if that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Shout out to Tony Roaz. So make sure that it's naked before it gets tapped. Got it. Shout out to Tony Roaz. Kind of. Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Tony Roa. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. What is going on, brother? Let's see. So if it's naked, it's waiting to be oh, God, man. What did I start? What did I do? Oh, I walked right into that one. But let's see. Shout out to Mikey. Mikey20, what is going on? He says, epic show as always, Frankie. Thanks a million. Shout out to Mikey. I appreciate you for being here. Gotta tap at the naked ones. Yo, roars. Oh, God, I gotta watch my mouth sometimes, man. Oh, God, sometimes chat just takes a hard left turn. It would be a lie to say it's not my fault. But anyway, so there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. I forgot who even asked it. Oh, yeah, Jose says, the GOAT totally makes sense. Appreciate you for upping my trading. Shout out to Jose. I appreciate you for being here, bro. And the fact that I'm able to help you out in any way, shape, or form really, really makes my life, literally. I was talking about to the premium Discord about this earlier. It is... shout out to the super chats. I'll actually come back to what I was just going to say. Shout out to Frankie's new chair. Said, Frankie, baby, I talked to Golden, and he's going to come pick me up. If you don't, I said no. I don't want to. I do not want to. I don't travel well, and would be better at home with you. Shout out to Frankie's new chair. Shout out to you. Hey, I'll be honest. Golden is probably going to be able to give you a pretty good life. I'm not going to lie, but I also feel like Golden will probably just drop you off at the studio here. Shout out to Frankie's new chair, and shout out to Golden, bro. And shout out to Querity. Said, get in the premium. A lot of amazing traders. Shout out to Querity. Yeah, the value in the premium is not just me. It's also Darren Does Things, who has his own channel in the premium Discord, dropping Fire TA as well. If I'm not in there, usually he is. Yeah, shout out to Querity. I was saying earlier today, like, the fact that I can have any positive effect on anyone's learning on their trading journey, or even help them in the premium Discord, or just make your day better, literally makes my life. This is why I do this. When I get chats, not even just Querity saying like the premium's worth it or very valuable, but a lot of times we get super chats that's like, I used what I learned in your premium Discord and I made some money, right? This is the most fulfilling thing that I could ever imagine, right? The fact that I'm able to help anybody in any capacity, like, literally makes my life. And so shout out to you guys. And it's funny because Querity, I was literally saying super chats like that. Usually like, that's what I like to see. So shout out to Querity. Shout out to Jessica. What is going on? Welcome in, Jessica. Good to see you in here. Golden says, I'm rough on my equipment. I thought Frankie's new chair would like that. I guess not. Shout out to Golden, spooking away the new chair. Shout out to Golden. Oh, there's, yeah, shout out to On My Hero saying, show Jess. Shout out to Jessica. Welcome in. Good to see you. Wick's Wife, Fine 89 checking in. Green Day Prophet. We got everybody in here today. Shout out to you guys. I've missed all of you. Shout out to Jessica. We miss you as well. But we knew you'd be back. And we've been waiting for you. So good to see you in here. Wick says he needs an adult. But let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. I'm going to take a look at a few altcoins. Like I said, today might be a little bit of a shorter stream. But yeah, if you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Rob the Crypto Stomp, count up the votes, and let us know what we're looking at. I'm going to start off with Ethereum and Solana, and then we will continue on to the requests. I'm just going to take a sip of this Aztecian Cactus Mosswater. XRP, shout out to Luna Moon. Yeah, we will take a look at XRP as well. Let's see. ADA, we can take a look at ADA. AVAX, shout out to Carrie Stressel. What is going on? But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look here. So, on Ethereum, it's like still the same thing, right? Not really too much new here, other than the fact that we have come down to this, again, right, like naked. I call this a naked value area, right? Which I guess technically is true until it's tapped. But here's the thing, right? The reason I do put a difference on this is because technically we've come down to tap this. Like, if we come back down to this value area, I am still keeping this on my radar, right? Just because it's tapped doesn't mean I'm not going to pay attention to it anymore. Different than the naked points of controls. I don't really put too much, unless it's like a key support resistance flip, I don't put too much weight on the tap naked points of controls, but I do on the tapped value area. So, once this value area is here, in my opinion, for the most part, it's going to get respected anytime you revisit it, right? And we've seen this on Bitcoin, right? Just to kind of show this. If we pull this up, pull up the macro volume profile. Where is it? Macro, local VP. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Macro range. No. Pull it up over here. Where is it? Macro VP, right? So if we look at this and I hide these local levels, you guys can see here, right? We have the volume profile from the top of the bull market. We came back in, right? We used that volume profile to predict the move through the range, up to the POC, up to the value area high. But as we come back down, these levels are still going to be absolutely key, even though we've run through it again. So hopefully that makes sense. But let's go ahead and continue on here, taking a look at Ethereum. And, we've come down here. We've held the value area low. I'm going to hide that for a minute. But yeah, as of right now, we've held this low. We got on top of the value area high. Really, I was talking to the premium Discord earlier. Ethereum never really got the move up to the macro resistance, right? Like Bitcoin did, right? Bitcoin did wind up coming into that macro golden pocket value area low, where Ethereum kind of was, didn't quite make it up there just yet. But this is a very similar level, right? We have the value area low, the golden pocket. And if we do come up there, this is still going to be a very, very, very key level, right? Because if we pull this from the local high all the way to the low, that is your golden pocket. 786 is sitting right up here in confluence with this larger golden pocket. Actually, let me go ahead and let me actually look at this for a second. Nope, not that one. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, so this fib here is the entire move from here to here. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily pay as much attention to that as I would the local levels. But it's funny because they're confluent, though. But yeah, like this zone here, key resistance between 31.25 and 32.63, where we have this more, longer time frame golden pocket with the local 786 confluence. And then this golden pocket, you could even move this up to this high. But golden pocket, value area low, that's going to be the first major key level of resistance. If we do come up here on Ethereum, I will be looking for a similar rejection as we are seeing on Bitcoin right now at that key level. So that's definitely one you're going to want to have marked off on your chart. Let me see here. Do I have the bear with me. Yeah. Actually, looking in hindsight, this is not something we were necessarily paying attention to. Or I was paying attention to personally. But if you look here, right, what did we retrace back down to? Let me get rid of this local profile real quick. What did we retrace back down to, guys? It was the macro, what are we holding right now? The macro POC, right, of this whole range here. The macro bull market range, POC extrapolated to the right. We retrace right to that level, right? And I will be honest, if you lose this 23.19 level, right, if you want to coming down here, you can't get back above, potentially 1,900 in play. Right, but again, we're not really nearing that right this second, so you don't have to watch it right now. But just keep that marked off on your chart. 2330 is going to be a key level because you get stuck underneath that. 1902 could be on the way. Just in terms of the volume profile, that's what you would expect, right? You go from the, and it just goes to show how reliable the volume profiles are. I know I sound like beating a dead horse here, guys, but go from the low. Look to fill the volume profile, deviate from the high. This is where you're looking at this as an overvalued asset. Return back into the range. Once you lose this value area high, where are you looking? Right down to the POC. Where are we holding support? Right on that POC. This is the reliability of the volume profiles. But let me go ahead and pull up all these other levels because I just deleted a bunch of them. So yeah, first zone of resistance, 29.48 to 28.74. And then above that, I would be looking between 32.63 and 31.25. And then, get above that, POC value area high is going to be the next major level. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at. And then locally on Ethereum, right, we are kind of, you want to remember you have this local range down below, pulled from back here. Let me actually get rid of some of these. Get rid of that level. So yeah, you saw this volume profile sitting down here, but locally, we are starting to create a little bit of a range here. So, if we're able to respect this continuously, pull up Market Cipher real quick. Yeah, respect this continuously. This is kind of the local levels, but again, I am a lot less interested in these local scalps at the moment with the way, with the current market environment. I'm not as interested in these local scalps, but that would kind of be where I'm pulling my volume profile. But for the most part, that's your key level of resistance. And then if we come back down, remember that 23.30 level is going to be absolutely key support, because if you lose that, and again, that is confluent with this local volume profile as well. If I pull up that macro value area, right? Let me actually label this POC real quick. Bada boom. And we'll go macro POC, right? So if we bring that back over, you can see like this whole value area is very important, because what can happen here, because this is such a high time frame level, you could come down here, play around a little bit, right, locally, right, and then close some weekly candles above. Like the local price action might come play in the range, but as long as you're able to get back out of that value area, find some longs at the lows and get back out, you could be good. But remember, this 23.30 level is very important, because if we start hanging out around there or hanging out below there and we can't get back above, could open the door for a much bigger drop to that macro value area low. Again, it's all a game of ranges, guys, and specifically volume profile ranges, right? So there you go, right? Like these. And again, this is not something I was watching on the way down. It was something we were watching on Bitcoin on the way down, but not on Ethereum. But you could just see, like looking in hindsight, right? POC holds up. On Bitcoin, right, we were actually looking at that macro volume profile on the way down. How do I not have this on here? I'll just pull it up on here, right? This was something we were looking at, right, saying on the way down, guys, watch these key levels at around $54,000, $55,000, because this macro value area high is sitting right there. Right, and we had some other key levels there as well. And we were talking about how, hey, not only do we have the local key levels, but we really don't want to lose that value area high, for a significant amount of time. We don't want to close too many high time frame candles below there, and we didn't. Right, like we closed one daily candle up there, and then we hopped back on top and got out of there, which is a pretty good sign in my opinion. Right, because if we were to come down here and hang out, right, where's that next likely place for price to go? Could be looking down towards that macro POC for Bitcoin, which is sitting at, coincidentally, right, $47,000. That kind of that next lower area that we're looking at in the 40s, right, starting off at 47,000, right. That macro POC is going to be absolutely key, and if we get stuck underneath there, I don't want to say it opens up the door to the value area low. Technically, in the theory of the volume profiles, that is what you would look at, right? You'd be like, hey, if you lose this level, you'd be looking down towards that value area low. But you do have significant support. You have a lot of levels in that 40K zone, right? So maybe you come down. If you were to come down here, maybe you hang out down here for a little bit and then hop back up on the POC and hopefully get the heck out of there. But you really wouldn't want to be closing like weekly candles down here, because in my opinion, that could wind up being pretty bearish. But we're pretty far away from that, right? Like I said, we're closing back within the bull flag. We're back above that value area high. This is actually, a better sign than any, right? The fact that we are out of that value area again. Like the fact that we are not hanging out in here is a very good sign, right? Because that would be very worrisome if we were stuck underneath there. Very likely that we come back down there. So there you go. So nice to be back above that level. ETH is lost. Shout out to Incognito. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Seek and Hunt. Says, can you go over Lux Algo signals and how price action plays with fair value gaps? And how to trade with them. Shout out to Seek and Hunt. The fair value gaps, right? So what he's talking about is on Lux Algo, which, by the way, shout out to Lux Algo. If you guys are interested in checking them out, they are a sponsor of the channel. Make amazing indicators. They also make my free indicator, Frankie Candles Essentials, that you can get for absolutely free right now if you wanted to. Just search my name in TradingView and click Frankie Candles Essentials by Lux Algo and get it on your chart right now. But, if we look at these signals and overlays, let me just pull it up real quick. Bada boom, and I will just go ahead and turn this. And this is actually not even the updated version, but the fair value gaps will be exactly the same. Oh, actually, no, it's not on signals and overlays. It's on price action concepts. So if you have the Lux Algo price action concepts indicator, you could turn on fair value gaps. Now, I'm not going to go over this 100% right now, but I'm just going to kind of show you guys what they look like. I'll actually extend them a little bit so you could see them a bit better. Come on down to something like the 4 hour. So I actually have a video talking about how to actually trade these and what you can look at, what you can look for to actually enter trades based off the fair value gaps. But the fair value gaps extend out of here. So basically what this shows is an imbalance, right? Like when you get displacement in one direction, you will pull these fair value gaps. And the way you would typically trade these, or the way that I would typically trade these, and I think ICT, if you guys know ICT or you've ever heard of him, he's like a very, very popular Forex guy. I think he's like huge on fair value gaps. But basically the way I would be trading these, like I can go into bar replay mode real quick just to kind of show you guys a little tutorial here. And again, I don't want to go too deep, but the way I would kind of trade this is you would want to wait for a market structure shift or like a bearish change of character or something like that. If you think the trend is going to continue, oftentimes price will retrace into these fair value gaps to give you an opportunity to enter a trade, right? And this is kind of how you would trade them. I don't know if this is going to play out perfectly, but yeah, like let's see, we have to wait for a retracement, like boom, right? So let's say, okay, you're getting a little bit of a move back up here. So on that retracement, you want to look at these fair value gaps, and that is typically, obviously, you don't just want to wait to come into fair value gap and short, right? You need some kind of strategy. You need some kind of like system to be trading off of these, but basic, just basic overview of how you would trade these. Oftentimes what people will do is they wait for the retracement to come into a fair value gap, and then that's where you would take the position, right? And oftentimes, right, if you have a confluence with a golden pocket or a 786, which is typically where I like to enter on retracements, a lot of times those fair value gaps will be very confluent, like you can see right here. Obviously, I did not know that was going to happen. So yeah, like you just watch how this kind of plays out, right? So you wait for that retracement to come into the fair value gap. Again, this is not exactly how you would trade it. This is just a general overview of how you would look at it. And you would just wait for that retracement into the fair value gap. Obviously, you have confluence here with the 786 golden pocket. And then you get a nice little scalp to the downside, right? And again, it's not that easy. You don't just want to even here you came up, tapped into the fair value gap and came back down. It's not just like end all be all. You can't just trade like that. And then, you could trade inverse fair value gaps, right? So now in this case, right, you would be looking at the fair value gaps as if you can get a retracement into a fair value gap, this is where you would take the entry, right? You would look, and again, you would have to pair this with some other kind of analysis, right? Maybe you have a bullish change of character or something, and you're looking for a retracement. It's confluent with your, golden pocket 786, right? So you wait for price to retrace into that fair value gap or golden pocket. See if we get it. Right, boom, so that would be your entry, and actually that one wound up being a pretty decent entry, actually similar to the one that we had in the Discord, but we weren't looking at the fair value gap. I was just looking at the golden pocket, but oftentimes those fair value gaps will be there. So that's kind of how you would use it, right? General, again, that's not a trading strategy, like don't just go trade fair value gaps like that, but that's just a general idea, a little 30-second explainer on how how people typically trade those. But I do have a video on the channel going further in detail. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh no, shout out to Tony, that was not the video link. But yeah, that is, you can check the video on the channel where I go a little bit more in depth on how you can actually trade these. There's many ways to do it, right? There's inverse fair value gaps, there's breaker, there's all different kinds of stuff that you can incorporate into that strategy. So there you go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay. I don't use Google. Shout out to VW John. But shout out to Lux Algo if you guys want to check him out. Link in the description. But let's go ahead and check out. We took a look at Ethereum. Let's go ahead and see what we got for altcoins. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. We got him. Thank you for this, brother. I will pin that to the top of the chat. I'm going to come over to these super chats real quick before we move on. Shout out to Ahmed. What is going on, bro? Thank you for that super chat. Said, what up, my man, Frankie? Much love from the UAE. Can we please have a look at DYDX? Much love, my man. Shout out to you, brother. Much love right back at you, DYDX. I will drop it in here. And I will try to take a look at that in just a minute. And then shout out to Frankie's new chair. Thank you for another super chat. Said, Frankie, I talked to Dr. Furniture, and he said he can give me built-in back massage motors and speakers for me to whisper market updates in your ear. Just tell me what you want. Please, baby. Shout out to Frankie's new chair. Yo, signal-giving chair? I'm gonna come pick you up. I'm gonna come pick you up tonight, Frankie's new chair. Shout out to you. Thank you for the super chat, and I can't wait. Oh, there's the fair value gap video. Shout out to Tony D. So you guys, if you want to check that out, it is an old video. I would probably do an updated version. Maybe I will. But again, I don't personally trade fair value gaps very often. But that is typically, what people like to look at, right? They usually take those entries into those fair value gaps after that imbalance is filled, right? And then it just look for the continuation. But yeah, you can check that out. I go a little bit more in detail. Let's see. Shout out to All Set. Said Frankie and Tony D. Thank you for the video. No problemo. Will there be a new XRP stablecoin army? Shout out to Incognito. I would think so. Probably. Let's see. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at XRP. Speak of the devil. And to be quite honest with you guys, kind of still in the same situation that we've been in. Let me see here. Bada boom. Come over to the live stream chart. Bada bing. Come on to XRP. And there we go. Right. So still, key levels of support and resistance do remain the same. I'd actually be willing to look at this as a kind of a current volume profile. Daily money flow crossover into the green. Still looking okay. 3-day green dot, 4-day. Yeah. Let me actually get rid of that. For the most part, right, your key level of support here, in my opinion, is going to be that macro POC, right? We are still within the confines of this larger volume profile, right? Obviously, lows are respected, right? Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, right? Highs obviously respected. Every time we come up here, we get shot back down. Even when we broke above this level at 67 cents, we just get yanked back down into that lower volume profile. And this is just like failure to rotate, right? And this is like every time you come and slap back down, every time you slap back down, every slap, right? But the hope here, at some point, guys, I swear it's going to happen at some point. I'm kidding, not financial advice. But you would think, right? Once things start getting going here again, flip that $67,000 weekly naked point of control and doorway to higher prices, which is the value area low. Flip that to support. Very likely that 83-cent level and that $1.29 would be on the table, right? Coming up here to that value area high. But until then, right, it's basically a game of volume profile ping pong, right? We're stuck in this range until we can get acceptance into the higher range, right? So until we get accepted in here, this is your current range, and that is what I'd be looking at, right? If we get a continuation to the downside, right, if we don't just break out and we get a bigger drop down here, POC golden pocket of this whole move up, right? Golden pocket POC. 786, somewhat complement the value area low. But other than that, like it's just the value area low at 45 cents, the POC golden pocket confluence at 51 cents, and the key resistance at the value area high here, 62 cents, right? And even if we break out of that 62-cent value area high, you have to be careful because you still have that bigger level above you, the more important level, in my opinion, because that's what's holding you back towards the higher from the higher prices. But other than that, like XRP remains in the almost exact same situation that we left it in last week, right? Money flow coming out on the 16-hour, 12-hour money flow coming out as well. So maybe we can get a little continuation down there if we do see that money flow continue out. So yeah, keep that in mind. But all those levels remain exactly the same. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Carlos. Carlos S. Shout out to you, bro. I see you, brother. I see you. But let's see. Let's check out DYDX real quick. Take a sip of that Aztecian cactus moss water. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. It is the easiest and most free way to support your boy, Frankie Candles. And it is the fastest way for Tony D to get a raise. I'm just kidding, guys. But anyway, Tony D is taken care of. But let's see. I remember losing a bunch of money on dot parachain auctions. Yo, shout out to Crypto Crab, man. Let's see. Shout out to Seth Shepard. Said, later, Frankie and Mafia. Got a jet. Shout out to Seth. We'll see you next time, bro. Thank you for tuning in. As always, let me see. I don't think we have a DYDX chart, to be honest with you. We haven't really looked at this. We don't look at this often, to be honest. Yeah, I guess we'll just take a look at the bada boom, Bybit chart, bada bing. And yeah, there we go. All right, so let's take a look here. I want to make sure I have the most prices. Okay, so this is the last one. Yeah, last time we looked at this was a while ago, I guess. Okay, funny enough, right? Like, pull the volume profile. Probably, I mean, that date is back here in March. So that must have been the last time I looked at DYDX. Looking at that golden pocket retracement, deviation above the high, bearish divergences. What happened? We went right back down to the low and lower. But let me go ahead and clear this up. We can get rid of all this as well, and I'll make a fresh chart. So actually, what I will do, bring all that back up, actually. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Come on in here. Turn off the... Oh, God, I'm getting text messages here. Oh, boy. Turn off the histogram box. I don't know why that is ever on. And I'm just going to pull this to the current price. So get rid of this, get rid of this. Draw this out as our current profile, or current, significant profile, I should say. And then we got the value area high, the POC, and the value area low. There we go. So yeah, breakdown, bearish retest, breakdown. You are putting in some 4-day bullish divergences down here, which could be interesting. 3-day bullish divergence with your lower. I mean, to be honest, right, we'll do some more analysis here, but as you deviate below that range low, right, that value area low, you're putting in bullish divergences on significant time frames. Higher high, lower high. I mean, lower low, higher low. And yeah, if we were to continue up, I mean, that key level of resistance, the next major level would be that value area low at $150 sitting right here. And if we go ahead and pull some of these local levels, I don't want to give you like every single level here because that's just going to be a little too much. But yeah, locally, I would watch this local retracement. But if you can get above that 786 at about $1.30, you have a chance at attacking that $1.50 value area low. And then in my opinion, that would be the level to get above in order to get the bigger move to the upside closer to $2 and $3, right? Very simple volume profile stuff. And this divergences here on the higher time frames are somewhat interesting, right? 2-day bull div really didn't give you much. But it is there, right? And you don't just want a long bullish divergences, right? It's not, typically it will give you something, right? Like very rarely will a bullish divergence or bearish divergence give you nothing. But obviously the context of the market means a lot, right? Like that has a big significance in what will happen next, right? So if you're getting bullish divergences down here and money flow is coming out, right? Like sure, you can expect a bounce, but you're not necessarily going to expect like a mega bounce with a huge higher high. Same thing with Bitcoin, right? Like on the daily here, we came down, put in a daily bullish divergence at the lows here with lower lows below the volume profile, higher lows on your momentum waves, right? And then price comes back into your volume profile. But what happened, right? We got the big bounce, but it didn't give you the continuation that you wanted because money flow on the higher time frames was coming out, right? So that indicates, that's why it's important to be looking at multiple things and understand the higher time frame analysis, because if you were just looking at this divergence, you would think like, hey, probably just going to blast off here. But looking at the higher time frame money flow, you knew it was more likely to come up, right? And you could look at that daily bull div to capitalize on that move up, but you would understand that lower high at this level would be very likely. So you're probably being very cautious on that long, probably taking a lot of profit as you approach that level. So just understand that, right? And then back to DYDX. Yeah. So I would watch that, right? Higher time frame bull divs could bring you up. But again, money flow still kind of wonked out, right? Playing around, fake out into the green, back into the red. It's not curving up very nicely. So could you get a move up? It is likely with the higher time frame divs, but again, money flow is not looking the prettiest here. So just be careful. Definitely not a signal to just long. But I would just would like to see a retracement above that value area low. And in my opinion, if you can get above here, that's where I would this is probably a situation where I wouldn't be looking for the entry down here. I would rather see the reclaim of the value area low and then look for the long on the retracement into the value area low. It's a little bit of a safer bet, right? Like sure, you miss out on those extra gains, right? But you don't want to be greedy, right? It's 69% that you're missing out on but I guess not 69%, probably, 37% is much different. But I would just rather take the safer bet, and instead of longing into something that I think resistance is close to, I'd rather wait to get into that volume profile and then long into support, right? Not short into not long into resistance, but long into support, right? So just keep that in mind. But those are the levels I'd be looking at. Hopefully that helps you out. I forget who dropped that super chat, but hopefully hopefully that gives you some insight into what I would look at. Shout out to Dr. Crimson's girlfriend, says my new hobby is blocking people who copy paste S coins over and over into chat. Yeah, shout out to the mods. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's just like spreading the word. I never. Yeah, that's very interesting. What is the coin of choice here? I won't say it out loud. But yeah, it is funny too because they're not always like shilling meme coins, right? Sometimes it's like a genuine question. But yeah, spamming is very suspicious sometimes. But there you go. That's what I'd look at on DYDX. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at Solana. Maybe I won't. Maybe we won't. Oh, Mrs. Candle's prediction. Let's see. Man, I forget. She was looking for a move to the value area high, which I guess is still technically in play as we're looking at this, playing around with this POC. But I'll be honest with you guys. Still in the same position that we were on Friday, right? Like really nothing to update here on Solana. Value area high, 786 confluence here was the next major level. That was where Mrs. Candles thought price was going to go. Mrs. Candles does have a crystal ball. But we are rejecting that golden pocket, right? Pulled from the high to the low, right? So we know that lower highs are likely to come into the golden pocket or the 786. To be honest, the more confluent area is the 786 value area high. So if we get hold above this POC, let me go ahead and mark this out. Bada boom. If we could hold this POC, we could potentially, right? We go from the low to the POC, flip the POC to support. If we can get another move up, this would be the next major level of resistance that I would be willing to look for potential shorts at. But until then, these levels all remain exactly the same. This is literally like almost in the same position. It's like on Friday, right, we were looking at the golden pocket as potential pullback, right? The key support underneath that is the POC, and we're just seeing that play out, right? So if we get that move back up, break the golden pocket, look to come up into this level where we would assess the situation once again, see if we can find those short setups. And again, volume profile is absolutely goated, right? Looking for the shorts at the highs, longs at the lows. Will almost play out. One of the best things to have on your side are these volume profiles, guys, right? It just lets you know, relative to the recent price action, especially if you're in a clean range, hey, you're oversold here. This is probably cheap Solana. You might want to ride it back into the range, pick some up, ride it back into the range, potentially up to the high. And then once you deviate from the high, you look for those bearish divergences, lower highs on your momentum waves, higher highs on price action, acceptance into the range, back to the PLC, back to the low. I'm probably going to make another volume profile video coming up pretty soon here. I don't want to just beat the dead horse here, but hopefully watching this live stream time and time again, tuning in every single day gives you guys confidence to look at these volume profiles and see that they do indeed play out more often than they don't. And hopefully it gives you confidence to get into some trades and actually hold them, right? And actually stay in them, not panic close, and wait for the TA to actually play out. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Crypto Independent. Said, I got a question. When Moon Lambo, shout out to Crypto Independent, says, is the 4-year cycle still intact? I'll be honest. In my opinion, right, other than the kind of weird little quirks that we've had this cycle, which, by the way, every cycle has, right? Not every cycle plays out exactly the same as the other as the previous, right? Shout out to this chart that we were looking at last week. Again, not just calling for 137K. There's a lot of explanation that goes into here. But I don't want anyone seeing that and being like, oh my God, I'm going to buy. He thinks it's going to 137K. There's a lot more explanation that goes into that. But as far as the 4-year cycle, as far as the 4-year cycle goes, to be quite honest, other than the little quirks that we've had, let me pull up the cycle chart. We're kind of right on time here, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Assuming, and again, I am not just, there's no reason to just blindly assume that the 4-year cycle is just going to continue because hashtag 4-year cycle, right? There's obviously other things that need to line up. But as of right now, I would say we are still pretty much intact, right? Because, this is a chart that I made a while back, just measuring the amount of days between certain things, the halvings, the tops, the bottoms, the tops, the bottoms, and the halvings. And everything is kind of rhymed very, very similarly here. And as of right now, right, what happens when you have that halving come in, right? 2020, we have the halving come in May, right? What happened, right? More or less just went sideways until September or October, and then we wound up getting the big move. Right? What has happened here since the halving? More or less, we've just gone sideways, right? And then if we wind up getting those rate cuts or, whatever happens in September, it's obviously an election year as well. September, October, maybe that's where you get the bigger move up. Now, again, it doesn't have to exactly mirror what happens in the past. But, a lot of people asking me, Frankie, is the bull market over? And in my opinion, that is wild to think, right? At least at this moment, right? Not only, right? It's very similar to back here. Having happens, you wiggle sideways, and then you get the big move in September, October. The thing here is, when we got this pullback, right? Or we got this pullback, if you were buying the bottom of the bear market, right? no one buying down here or even on the C19 lows is looking at these pullbacks as like the end of the end of the bull market, right? So when in doubt, zoom out, right? If you are new to crypto, if you just entered in, just understand this. Like, we are still in bullish market structure on the higher time frames. Like, this is still an uptrend. And even when you see stuff like this happen, black swan events, and that wick comes down super, super close to your lows, right? It still wasn't over and you came up into your bull run, right? So, as far, and you have to understand, I'm coming from a very heavy technical perspective, right? This isn't something that, I'm not, we do keep in mind that, we have the potential rate cuts coming or whatever. But for the most part, like, when you guys ask me my opinion, it's coming from a strictly technical perspective. And from a technical perspective, right, if we weren't worried about, this dip or this dip being the end of the bull market, right, like, why would it be here, right? And again, even if we got that move all the way down to the 40s, you could still potentially maintain bullish market structure and continue the uptrend. So just keep that in mind, please, for the love of God. Right? Like, I know it feels scary to get dumps like this, but this is not uncommon in a bull market, right? 20, 30, 40% dumps in a bull market have happened before, right? Imagine you saw something like this, how scared people would be. But hopefully, having these key levels on your chart and knowing where the key support is, you guys can start to understand, and have peace of mind when price starts to dump. You're looking at it like, hey, maybe we're just getting a move through this low volume gap into a key level of support, which I know is right here, right? Or whatever it is. The charts can kind of, ease your fear if you know what you're looking at, right? And we did that almost perfectly, on the 4th of July, right? When we were looking at that potential dip down to 51 to 52K, which we did front run, but we did wind up hitting it eventually. But, when we were looking, like, let me come back into bar replay mode here real quick. Bada boom. Actually, come over here, and then we'll pull it to the 4th of July, right? When we were looking at price back here, and of course the VPVR isn't going to work. Of course it won't. Of course it isn't. Come on, just work. Come on. Okay, so there we go, right? When we were looking at this, right, what were we talking about, right? When we were kind of coming down here saying, guys, look at this volume gap, not only down to like all these volume gaps, right? You have a volume gap here, you have a volume gap here. And, if you get that quick move to the downside, can I come back up to the daily? Will you let me do it? No, it won't work on the daily for whatever reason. But come on, there we go, right? We knew that we had these volume gaps down here, which could potentially give price a very, 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 very quick move to the downside. And, so, when you see that, right, and it was literally, I think, like, that it was right before the 4th of July, I said that exact thing. I'm like, hopefully when you guys, if you guys have these marked out on your chart and you understand there's a low volume gap down here to this high volume node picking up at about between 53,720 all the way down to this real start of the volume at 52, 53K, if we start getting a break of these lows and we fall into the low volume gap and we see a massive push to the downside, hopefully you guys will have a little bit of peace of mind understanding why that drop is happening, right? We had this low volume gap, and what happened on the 4th of July? We got a massive push to the downside and price started absolutely tanking. And, why were we not scared or why was this anticipated? Very simply put, we were able to see the volume gaps that came right down to our high volume node, right? So it doesn't, take the dump away, right? But it kind of takes that fear away, because instead of it being like, oh my God, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? You could look at the chart and be like, we're falling through this low volume gap. I'm going to expect support to be coming in on these high volume nodes, right? And that could really add a lot of peace of mind to your trading when you actually know what is going on the chart, right? Because there is always a reason based off the chart, right? Like, sure, maybe you get news that dumps you down. But again, like, you'll always notice, guys, right? You get that quick move down. We might be looking at a low volume gap. What is the news story that happens? Who knows? Who cares, right? Because we're just looking at the gap. And we know if we go into that gap, we're likely to fall to the downside. And then whatever the news story to accompany that is, who cares, right? It doesn't matter. In my opinion, right? I'm a technical trader, so just keep that in mind. It's not that the news doesn't matter or the news doesn't move Bitcoin. Obviously it does. But we know it is funny, right? Like, you look for a move to the downside through a low volume gap, there usually is a story involved, right? Same thing with this most recent dump down. We had some news, but all the things that we were looking at, right? Most currently, right? When we got the drop down to 49K, right? We were looking at key resistance and a lower high coming in at the 786 Fibonacci retracement level and the value area high. We had bearish divergences, right? Lower highs, higher highs into key resistance. We have many confluent levels up here. That is why we were looking for the move down, not because we were worried about some news event happening. Was there a news event that accompanied this? Absolutely, right? But it didn't matter because we had the signal up here before the news even came out. Show me the charts. I'll tell you the news every single time. Sometimes there is no news. Sometimes we just drop from technical reasons. But when there is news, I will show you the signal that was on the chart that alerted us before the news came out. So there you go. Again, I'm not saying news doesn't work or you can't look, like news is pointless to look at or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But, you know, as a technical trader, this is why I pay much more attention to the charts than the news. So there you go. Shout out to Frankie's new chair said, find me a chair living, 3D S. I don't even know what that means. 3D SL track full body massage chair, zero gravity massage recliner with 7-inch LCD touchscreen. You can let Mrs. Candles use me too. I will tell her every day how much you love her and how lucky she is. Shout out to Frankie's. Hey, Frankie. Hey, you're doing a good job of selling yourself here. You gotta talk me up to the girl and give me some signals in my ear. As you guys know, right? I actually do get all my signals in my TA from my chair, but this chair stopped helping me out, so that's why we're looking for a new chair. Shout out to Frankie's new chair. Thank you for the super chats. What is going on, Redman? Good to see you in here. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Independent. Said I was watching fireworks and Bitcoin's big red candles, buying all that up. Shout out to Crypto Independent. Yeah, it was. We definitely got fireworks there. Shout out to Golden. Says, yo, I'll bring the jet to come get you if Frankie Candles doesn't want you. Just say the word. Shout out to Golden. He's just sitting on the tarmac in his solid gold. You guys don't know this, but his private jet is solid gold. I don't know how they get that thing in the air, but shout out to the solid gold private jets, and shout out to Golden. Shout out to Tony D said, Frankie got a new chair weeks ago. He just intentionally broke it to slowly drop. I don't know why. He's obsessed with it. I think it's a feature. He thinks it's a feature. Shout out to Tony D. Yeah, I do like singing down. It's kind of fun. Keeps things entertaining. Shout out to Redman. Said, good to see you. What's up, Tony D? Shout out to Redman. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Show AVAX. Granny says, when depends coin top. Yo, hashtag short that sheet. Shout out to Carrie Stressel wants to see AVAX. Let's take a look. Oh, AVAX is on the list. We'll take a look at it. Absolutely. I would have taken a look at it if it wasn't on the list, but it's nice that we're killing 2 coins with 1 mouse. I'm not good at that kind of catchphrases, guys. I don't know. But anyway, let's go ahead and check it out here on AVAX. Bada boom. Let's pull it up on the live stream chart because I think we probably have an AVAX chart here. And here we are, right? This actually is... Okay. So, yeah, I guess probably the last time we were looking at AVAX, we're probably looking at larger... Come on. Man, I wish these just populated all the time. They just don't. Come on. I could probably clean this chart up a bit. But, you know, I don't know what time frame we were looking at here, but it looks like we were looking at some bull divs here. Excuse me. Yeah, higher time frame bull divs potentially here. Yeah. Into the POC of the previous range. We got the lower lows. Whoops. Lower lows on your price action. Into that POC. Potential bull divs printing here on a lot of these altcoins. Higher time frame, right? Now, again, doesn't mean just long because there's a bull div. Keep that in mind. Yeah, right into that POC. And again, guys, right, like what do we oftentimes talk about? Like when you leave a volume profile, sometimes you go down and tap that previous POC before getting another big move up. So again, like and you have the bullish divergences here, lower lows, higher lows on the 3-day. 4-day is looking to potentially print that. Let's take a look at the weekly. Weekly VWAP kind of curving up. Not much to take away from there. Things are kind of chopped here. Right, it's like, look at that. Green dot, red dot, playing some VWAP flop here. 10-hour green VWAP coming up, and then you have the 16-hour VWAP coming up, and then the daily VWAP coming down. 2-day VWAP, just printed a green dot. Yeah, this is a little bit chopped up. I'll be honest with you guys, right? Like, this is not very clear. But what is clear are the levels, right? You have your macro value area high. I'll just give you the levels for this because the market cipher is a little chopped up here. Like even the 6-hour green dot, red dot here. Not like this is not something I would like to trade here, right? Like what I like to trade is wait for a sideways range, get the clear context, find an entry for a long, find an entry for a short within the context of that range. This is not, and it's not that you can't trade this, right? You could obviously trade this, look for higher lows, etc. But for the most part, right, like I really like to see nicer ranges here. But in the long term, value area high at 2157 is absolutely key. If you cannot get above this level, you're going to be stuck between the value area high and the POC, which is coming in at 1726. If you lose this POC, bigger moves down are likely, right? Hopefully, I'm not going to look down to the lower prices. I don't want to scare anybody. Yeah, 995 is the value area low. But again, until you really start spending some time under this macro POC, you don't have to worry about that. But if you could break out of this value area high, 2157, your key level of resistance remains the same between the value area high and the POC here. Go ahead and pull this range real quick. Yeah, POC value area low between 2584 and 2481. All right, so again, break out of the 2157 level. Very likely, right? You have imbalance to the downside. If we get imbalance to the upside, where are we going to go hunt out? We're going to hunt out that previous area of balance, which is sitting right here. And that's what I would look for. If you get above this level. If you can't get above this level, probably coming back down. And POC is your key level of support. Other than that, market cipher B is a bit chopped up right now, so hard to say. Hard to say on that end of things. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Hodl. The line said you still bullish on ADA for this bull run. And it's actually funny. I actually had a family member text me earlier today, and he's like, "Hey man, I gotta pay for something. Looking to sell some of my crypto. You think you think Cardano's ever gonna do anything? Should I just get rid of it at a loss?" And I just told him, right, I gave him the normal, like, I would not really sell at a loss, right, especially if you're down a lot. You don't want to just sell the bottom like that. But I know it can be super, super frustrating. He actually explained it very well. He said, ADA's just been, what did he say? Actually, I'm just going to read it. Shout out to my brother-in-law. He explained it because sometimes it really does feel like this. He said, yeah, ADA has just been lemon juice on a never-ending paper cut for me, and I feel him on that because a lot of people feel like that on Cardano because, with Cardano, a lot of people got into Cardano in the, 2-3, let me pull up the daily, right? A lot of people got in that like $2-3 zone, and that was like right before the big dump, right? So, imagine holding that all the way down and then coming up and then you're back down like that. I've held stuff through situations like this as well, and I think like a constant lemon juice on a never-ending paper cut perfectly describes what that feels like. But basically, my thought process here for Cardano is, it's a good project, right? And very likely, in my opinion, right, this is not not the top for Cardano, right? Like we're not gonna top out here and just gonna go down forever. Hopefully, right? That wouldn't be the anticipation, but. Am I still bullish? I mean, it's a great project. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't perform well. I know a lot of people are thinking that, a lot of this bull market is going to be very, very different, right? With, utility coins did really, really well in the past runs. But now we're seeing the money go into a lot of different areas, such as meme coins and a bunch of other narratives that aren't necessarily just utility, right? Like, I forgot who I saw talking about this, but they were talking about like how this bull run could be completely different, right? Where like the utility coins aren't going to be the ones that run as hard as they used to, but more likely it would be the community-driven coins, right? Because people don't always necessarily care about utility. And let's be honest, guys, a lot of the utility, other than like the real blue chip projects, which I would consider Cardano one of those, let's be honest, like 95% of the altcoins don't wind up doing anything, right? It's all basically just promises of a future roadmap, right? And that's why crypto is very dangerous because it's a space where, people could come in, make up a nice website, and look at these developers, look at this roadmap, this really cool roadmap, just like the influencers with all their NFT projects. Look at this roadmap, we're going to build this, we're going to build that, right? And then what happens, right? They never deliver on any of that stuff, and it just, it pumps in the bull market, and then it dumps, and it never goes back to all-time highs. I don't think, right, in my own personal opinion, not financial advice, I don't think Cardano's in that boat, right? I think Cardano actually has real utility. But, is this bull market going to be different? It's hard to say, right? Obviously, meme coins have gotten a lot more attention now, but, I don't think that means that the utility coins aren't going to run, right? Let's be honest. But so with that being said, unless the utility coins just don't get another run this cycle, I would definitely expect Cardano to get another rip here. But I know how painful it could be to hold through this kind of stuff. So, and, if you're ever holding something like this and, don't feel, I know it's brutal, but like, I've done stuff like this too, right? Like, in 2016, 2017, I think everyone has to kind of buy the top at some point and feel the pain. I always say like every person in crypto usually messes up at least one cycle, right? So keep that in mind. I would have never, if I didn't mess up in the first cycle, I probably would have never made money in the next cycle, right? But here for Cardano, I will say, I don't think it's like dead forever or anything like that. I just think, I don't think we've seen the real run for the utility coins yet. And when that does happen, I do see Cardano, probably performing pretty well. But as of right now, let's take a look if there are any signs of some kind of recovery. And I will say, like a lot of these altcoins, although money flow still looks kind of gross, a bounce is not impossible here with these higher time frame bull divs if they confirm, right? So let's imagine that 3-day bull div confirms. You hop on top of this value area low. That could easily get you to 40 cents, right? Break above that. There's your key level of resistance. Daily and value area low confluence. Flip that to support. Could be working your way back up to the 60s, right? But, again, area of balance. Where's your previous area of balance? Coming from this range right here. Where's price go? Right into that range, right? What's it respect? These levels from that value area. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'd be looking at Cardano. Again, it's kind of hard to say here. These aren't even printing. These divs aren't even printing yet. These are higher time frame. Again, red dot on the daily potentially incoming here. But then that 16-hour VWAP coming up. I'll be honest, guys. There are mixed signals out there. And again, that's why, sometimes the best trade is no trade, guys. If there's not clear signals and you're not scalping the low time frames, sometimes it's just better to wait for clearer signals. So, but my overall answer for that is like, is Cardano dead? Probably not, right? Just to be quite honest. So there you go, guys. I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and sticking around till the end here. And yeah, hopefully this, yeah, shout out to Time Traveler said, unless you're a bag holder from last cycle, forget about last cycle's coins and get into the newer, better ones. You are here to make money and not to help dead old projects come back to life. Shout out to Time Traveler. I'm pinning that. This is something that, I don't think is a favorable thing to talk about, at least on YouTube. I think a lot of people will come at you for saying this. But I agree with you, bro. We are here to make money, right? And I am here for the decentralization. I'm here for the freedom of crypto, right? I think it's why everyone gets into it, right? It's real, at least Bitcoin, right? It's like real sound money. It's hard money, right? It's limited, and it's a potential escape from like the scam that is the traditional financial system. So, this is really why we're here. This is what we believe in. But this is why I say you don't want to become a fanatic of a coin, right? And I think this is what we deal with a lot in crypto, right? It's like every community has their, every coin has like almost like a cult following, right? And this is what I always bring up where like the term "wag me," right? Like we're all gonna make it. That is simply like, as much as that is amazing and like that like really meshes in with my personality. I would love to kind of really preach that. It's not very. It's not how things work. Crypto and trading is PvP. It is you versus everybody, right? So it is not we're all going to make it. It's the people who are smart enough to take profits that are going to make it, and everyone else loses, right? And not all altcoins come back from the dead. And the reason I say Cardano is probably going to come back in some way is it's a pretty high market cap. It's got really good tech, and it's like a blue chip coin, right? In my opinion. But is Cardano going to make like the highest gaining coins of this cycle are probably not known yet, is what I will say, right? So I 100% agree with you, bro. I forget who said that. Time Traveler. Shout out to Time Traveler. I agree with you. Don't get too fanatic over your coins, right? Because, that's how you wind up just holding on to something and holding it to zero, right? If you're not in it for the money, you're just holding, we'll go back up, guys. Like, don't sell. Be strong. No, that's not how it works, right? That's what the people who are selling will tell you. Be strong, guys. Just keep holding on, right? I already sold my bags, right? So just keep that in mind. Hopefully we all make it, but you have to take profits to make it, right? And holding on for some kind of like, cult following it's silly, right? Not all coins will make it back, but I do think Cardano is a blue chip project. But yeah, like if you want those explosive gains, right? Like look at something like Caspa, which is something that we're gonna look at. I'm not gonna do the full TA here, but like look at something like Caspa, right? And this is why I said This is why I say, right, like I don't invest in XRP anymore, right? And it's not because I don't think it's going to go up. It's just I have a big enough bag, and I'm really happy that I haven't continuously, like, if I were like, let's pretend, right, there's some channels out there, right, that are just like XRP channels. And like if I were just like an XRP maxi, and I'm like, no, that XRP is the best, like I'm XRP army, right? All the money that I would have been putting into XRP, thank God I have my bag of XRP. I'm holding it. If it blows up, that's great. I'm happy with that. But if I continued investing in XRP, right, I would have had way less capital to invest in other projects that have performed much better than XRP, right? Like, and again, it's not that I don't think XRP will perform well, but it is a binary fact that other coins have well outperformed XRP. Right, and then this XRP is just an example. This is, you could replace it with any coin you want, right? In the same situation, but like look at Caspa, right? Like if we take let's look at the yearly chart, right? Let's take a look at the 12-month chart here, right, for Caspa, and let's just take the 2023 and 2024, right? So since 2023, Caspa has done 5,486%, 5,500%. Let's go to XRP. Right? I think you guys probably see what's coming here. Right? Let's measure 2023 and 2024. XRP has done 148%. Right? Now, is that horrible? Not really. Right? But is it like that is a perfect example, and I think that's what Time Traveler is trying to get at. Right? And again, is XRP going to pump more than this? Probably. Right? But if you want those big explosive gains, it is typically in the new coins. So keep that in mind, right? And just on a side note, don't just pray and hold on for a community of a coin, right? Like just for the community aspect of it. It's nice. I like that aspect as much. Obviously, you guys know I'm a huge community person with this YouTube channel. Like this whole thing is based on our community, the CandleMafia. But, we're also here to make money. We could be here for the decentralization of crypto while also understanding that it is a PvP game. And, WAGME is really not how it works. As much as we would hope that, I wish that was the way it was, it's just simply not. I don't make the decisions. And hopefully that example kind of makes sense for you guys. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Smash that like button on your way out. 550 likes. I don't know what we have, but 550 likes before we end the stream. We'll give us some extra giveaways on the Friday's live stream. And until then, or until tomorrow, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Go touch some grass. Go hang out with your version of Mrs. Candles. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow right here, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving it energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to Dave Digital. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ando for our boy. Hey, when we did TA for you last time on the fake out, Dave, did that wind up working out? I forget what we were looking at. Let me know. It may not have played out. I don't know. But be honest. Let me know if it happened. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Ando here. He says, I'm wondering if we're going to hit that 30-minute 786. Getting a little push up here. Let's see. So I assume you're probably looking at this one, which it does look likely. And I'll be honest, actually. Let's take a look here. Bada boom, bada bing. Money flow coming up pretty nicely on the 4-hour here for Ondo. VWAP kind of still stuck in no man's land. 2-hour green dot looking to print. Actually, Dave, is this the 786 you're talking about? Because we might just hit it right now. Yeah, we might actually we might hit this right now. Let's see. I'll just put an alert there in case we hit it. But yeah, let's see. So for Ondo, I guess we'll do this. Shout out to Dave Digital. We'll make Ondo our next our little Frankie fake out TA here. But let's see. Oh, come on, just do it. Come on, just do it. Come on, you can do it. Come on, go ahead. Come on. You got it. Dave, is Dave still in here? Dave, is this the 786? Let me know. Let's see. But yeah, key levels on Ondo. Let's see. Let's get rid of this naked profile. Yeah, so you're sitting on above the value area low. I mean, very, very clear here. POC is going to be your next major resistance at 79, almost 80 cents. Yeah, POC above. Yeah, so this is what I would look at, right? Let me see. Yeah, so bigger levels here on Ondo. These would be some local levels I would watch. Bada boom. Get rid of that 786. We already got it marked out. So, yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, 90-minute money flow crossover into the red incoming. Daily VWAP coming down. Yeah, man, things are chopped up right now. I'm not going to lie, guys. When things are not clear, you leave it to me to tell you guys the truth. It is not clear, right? But these will be local levels, right? Next key level of resistance, you have nice confluence on that value area high golden pocket, and then the 786 POC. So if you do wind up coming up, I would look at things in terms of this local volume profile. If you break above that 786 here at about 80 cents, I would be zooming out to the larger profile, looking for that move to the value area high. Very simply put. I think Dave left, or maybe actually, I think maybe my chat is frozen. Let me see here. Yeah, it says Dave is still in here. Hang on, let me let's see. But yeah, shout out to Dave Digital. Hopefully that helps you out, bro. If you are still in here, I don't know if you're watching or not. But there you go. That's what I would be looking at as far as Ondo. So there you go. Yes, finish with a simply put. Shout out to All Set. So simply put, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I will see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to All Set. Shout out to Redman. Good to see you in here, bro. VW John, thank you for tuning in. Maya's World said, give us a trade on BTC. Shout out to Maya's World. We just did the BTC TA. So scrub back to the beginning of the stream if you guys are looking for what I was talking about. Cyber Splash, good to see you in here as well, bro. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bang.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand, like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, man, we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to